I'm echoing.
You are echoing?
Am I?
No, I don't hear an echo.
Okay.
Do you hear an echo?
Like it's coming from your side. Like when I'm talking, like I'm hearing myself. Like
Is it going to be distracting?
leave it.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I think we're live. Um,
Are we?
this is great. I appreciate you joining today. I'm excited that we get to go through content systems and how to build effective. Um, I think something that was really interesting that we talked about the other week was how to think systematically about content, and how important that is, especially now when the demand for so much content, there is such a demand for content production,
Yeah.
and everyone thinks that with AI, you need to be doing more and more. And that's kind of the expectation. And so I'm really excited to kind of dive into how you think about building content systems, how you guys are doing that at HeyReach, and what kind of results that's getting for you guys. And then thank you, Aura, for also making an appearance here on
Hi.
the
Hi. Thank you for having us.
show.
We're super excited to be here. As I said, like I accidentally taught her to be on meetings, and now she insists whenever I join anything and she hears the I don't know theme Slack or whatever, like she's like, okay, I'm ready. So
Yeah.
she's ready to deliver a keynote.
She looks very professional and very ready.
She even has the palm moment, like
Y-
always, like so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Anyhow, thank you for having us. I'm super excited to speak about it with you and to discuss things as we talked last week. Sometimes it feels inhuman how the speed of content production um, basically grow overnight, and like the things that were big like few years ago and like wow, you're doing great, you're doing so much, it's like basic thing today.
Mm.
And definitely like the same systems and same tools and same approach from 2020 is not working in 2025. Like things needs to be shifted.
Yeah. Yeah, I think something I'd love your take on before we dive into is the rule that I've always kind of operated under as a marketing individual is focus on one channel and perfect it before moving on to the next. And I see a lot of early stage teams who are like, we need to do content. We want to be on webinars and SEO and AEO and LinkedIn and Twitter and all of the things at once. And it feels more obtainable with
Mm-hmm.
potentially some workflows and potentially with, some automation. But how does that work in practice? Is that still the best advice, or is it more possible to kind of produce content for multiple channels already in this kind of AI era?
I will be the worst marketer and say it depends.
Always.
Yeah, I think that FOMO around the content and the buzz in one moment was really, really, really big. And then with AI, it shifted a little bit, but it's still strong. I don't think that every channel is for everyone, and especially in every stage. I think, and I saw, especially in HeyReach occasion, that the best thing is definitely to figure out who your ideal customer is, but not ideal in terms of like theory and everything, but who is buying right now, who is buying the most, and who's buying the in the easiest process and giving you the most impact on the revenue, and where are they finding you, and how are they talking about it, and where are they talking about it, and then like go from there. In case of HeyReach, like our biggest channel was and still is word of mouth, and like we really dived into it and into community thing, and then into content first on LinkedIn, and then content on blog, and of course SEO and other things. But it needs to be gradual. I mean, gradual, but fast.
Okay.
Not like 1 year this, 1 year that, etc. But you need to be fast in perfecting that, especially if you're a startup, and especially if you're bootstrapped
Got it.
startup, because you don't have a lot of time and you do not have a lot of money. You need to be lean, and you need to be really like fast.
So how does that work if we know content is a longer game growth strategy? How do you balance the long-term planning while still needing to get results quickly? Or how do you think about this?
Well, you need to be aware of where are you impacting pipeline the most, and start from there. So, no nice makeup moves that were like not desired but more tolerable earlier. So if you go for big traffic growth, like there are things that you can do easily, or I don't know, with more resources. Now the market is really brutal. You have fewer resources, you have more pressure and more demand,
Yeah.
and you need to focus on pipeline right away. So how we did, we set, when I came in, we set the targets and approaches right away, and we agreed on what are we going to measure right away, and how we are going to know. Sorry, like my assistant got a little bit happy. And how we are going to know in after the quarter or 2 or 3 that we're on a good path. I need to say that I had a tremendous luck with my CMO, because he's getting content. He is really big on organic growth, and he did all pre-workout work that needs to be done before I entered the team. So I didn't have to fight to prove this or that. Like, he already know that this is the real thing, and that it's going to impact really like the pipeline, and it's good channel for us, etc. So I didn't have that kind of pressure. I know that a lot of marketers, especially content marketers, do. I had it in some of previous companies, where I had to basically drain a lot of my energy to just prove that content is working, and that it's going to work in 3, 6, 12 months in this or that way. So that's also a big blessing,
Yeah.
to not have to waste that kind of energy, because I could just put that energy into creativity, and to understand other things that they're changing on the market, and to be actually able to pivot quickly, and to understand all the changes early, and to adapt
Yeah.
the tactics, and approach a little bit. Like, the strategy and the approach are mostly the same, but the tactics and a little bit like how we do things changed over time with some core updates.
Yeah. Before we dive into your workshop, do you mind giving a few of those things that your CMO did before you joined the team that kind of helped set the stage for content and an effective content system?
Yes. So what they do, and I will also share the resources where he talks. Like, he dives deeply into it, so you can also understand like all the tactics and steps. But basically, like HeyReach was automation tool for Reddit. Like that was the first case.
Hmm.
Then the guys like pivoted after our current CRO, Ilya. He had like almost, I think around 1,000 calls with customers. It's a crazy number. It's around 1,000. Yeah, I don't know the exact one. And he came to co-founders, to Nicola and Stefan, and he said, like, guys, like, this what we are doing, like, we need to pivot. After that, like when they decided to pivot, they again, Ilya had some crazy number of calls with that customers that they had at the moment, and they figured out that they need to focus on agencies to niche down.
Yep.
So when Wook came in, HeyReach was an automation tool for everyone. And he and Ilya together worked on, and of course, like Nick and Stefan, but the main thing I want guys to understand that marketer and a revenue guy needs to have like hand in hand operational thing and to get their hands dirty. Meaning like they dig deep into data, they talk to customers, etc. So eventually they niche down to agencies, and they tailored the tool, the features, the pricing, everything, messaging, positioning, everything for agencies. And also like because word of mouth was a really big thing and still is, like they decided to go with community and ambassadorships to the agencies and to tap completely in that moment. And that's when the big growth started. So when I came in, like ACP, like I felt like it's a miracle because it was my first time that I entered the company and everything is super clear and already said it. Like ICP is done, all the messaging done, like the brand growing strong, planning with like the whole growth engine around organic already done. And I was like, oh my god, am I in heaven? Like
Yeah.
I just need to enter and to do my job. And that was like basically a miracle for a content person, because there is a lot of situation when people are just like, okay, we'll hire a writer or a content person and they will just write things, and like it will fix like a bad product positioning or messaging or something like that. Also, you will see later in presentation, I also talk about that, like that messaging and that positioning is super important, not because it's making my life easier as a content marketer, but also with LLMs and their ways of looking into things. Like you need to have like really strong brand, really clear messaging and clear positioning. And we were able to overcome a lot of competitors who are bigger than us, who are older than us. Like we're 2 years old company and brand, and they are like 3 or 4 or 5. And we didn't have like luck. We just did the things like basically by the book.
Yeah.
And we saw results. So if anyone came for some miracle, there is no miracle. So sorry for that in advance. But it's basically, you will see like things are by the book. It's nothing super new. It's what we from content, like as we talked last we from content knew and did a lot of times repetitively. It's just here like it's synergy from all channels basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And you see it with a lot of earlier stage companies. And I'm glad that you referenced the pivot that HeyReach went through, because a lot of people, well, I think it's okay to start content before you're pre-product market fit. When you need to start accelerating it is once you have that solidified positioning and that differentiation established. And to your point, LLMs love it. It's going to make your sales process easier. You're going to be able to identify those ICPs a lot easier, and the whole system becomes more cohesive once you have that predetermined, and allows you kind of segment
Okay.
content into those different ICP cohorts.
Exactly. I mean, Nicola built everything in public, like since Howitzer days. So before pivot, during the pivot, after the pivot. So
Yeah.
definitely, like content on LinkedIn was super important for us, and it still is. It's also one of our best performing channels, which is kind of expected because we are an automation tool for LinkedIn outreach. But I feel that if he wasn't building in public and wasn't putting that content out there, probably we wouldn't grow so fast.
Yeah. And a founder who understands the value of content is
Yes.
for us content
Definitely.
marketers is music to our ears.
Definitely. I love working with this team because everyone are everyone is great in what they are doing. So Nicola and Stefan, they're really young founders, um, but that is like a positive thing because they're like, okay, I know this thing, but I don't know this thing. So what I will do, I will hire the person to do that, and they actually let them do that because we all know, especially in marketing, that a lot of times like companies hire a marketer and then they want to micromanage it, and it always backfires.
Yeah, always. Yeah, I want to get into how you guys are thinking about how your content influences or impacts the outbound that you guys are doing through HeyReach. But I'm sure we'll get to that in your workshop at some point. So maybe we just dive in if you want to pull that up,
Okay.
and we can get going into it.
Yes. Give me just a second.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just to echo, what you were talking about before, like identifying who your ICPs are and or what their pain points are makes your content system so much more impactful, and it's such an important place to start. So excited to dive into this more.
Cool. So I'm not sure. I said earlier, but my name is Bojana, and I'm head of content at HeyReach. I previously worked with our assistant like last. Previously, I worked with some other brands, but I'm in B2B for like almost 10 years. And today, like we're here, as Will said, to talk how to grow organic traffic, mostly branded and non-branded, and that's super important because non-branded traffic is basically your new customer acquisition traffic, where branded is already aware of your brand. I will explain later why it's super important in tracking to focus on both. And we basically in 9 months we had a success of growing that from 8K when I came in February to 20K in November to this day. So as I said earlier, before you do any content, like you should preferably have, but when I say here content will flop, I mostly think about content on website. So content that you do on LinkedIn is a little bit different because you can iterate and pivot faster. And you have data also faster than when you compare it to the blog and to the website in general. Like you don't have to have so many trackers and so many analytics, etc., to figure out what's happening. Like you have one channel and you have community that's engaging and that's talking with you and to you. So it's much faster to actually understand those things. But before you do any content for the website, or Substack or any channel that is long form and it needs more time to grow, you need to understand product market fit, preferably niche, and to have at least an idea who is your ICP and to whom you're talking to, and to understand what kind of vocabulary they're using when they're talking about their problems, their pain points, etc., and how they're talking about it. That's why it's super important you're best friends with sales. I will explain also that later. And message positioning. This is super important if you want to conquer LLMs. If your message positioning is messy and you're a solution for everyone and anyone, you won't be in favor, let's say, on LLMs. It doesn't mean you won't show up, especially if you're older and stronger brand. You will, but when someone is asking a specific question for specific and searching for specific solution, they won't say like, give me a tool for outbound. Maybe sometimes, but like I'm trying to solve this and this pain point. I don't know. I just got promoted from SDR to sales manager, and I need to solve this and that. Like they sometimes don't even know how things are called, or I'm making it now like cartoonish, but you get what I'm thinking. So before you do the content, you do what I explained, like Vuk and Ilya did. I'll also share this resources. It's a webinar and a long Substack, long form on how we did it, like step by step, actually how Vuk did it. This guy here. And when I came in, I basically had already stream of revenue, I had traffic, I have ICPs and messaging, and all I had to do is audit on our own product, audit on our competitors, and on some content that was already there. Luckily for me, because my CMO gets content, he already started with pieces that are affecting revenue, and those are like competitors' reviews. I will explain later how we do that and why it's super important that you do not badmouth your competitors and to be as objectively positioned as possible. So when I came in, I understood that things are changing a lot on SEO scene, and that we cannot go with a broader approach. We need to be really focused, and I've decided to go for product-led content only. This is super specific, and it can work in a lot of niches. For some, it can't. For example, for services, etc. In those specific cases, like there's also a solution. Like you can talk a lot about how you do services, like in exact steps, workflows, etc. But for companies that have product, it's super important that every person in the company in general, but especially those who are positioning the product, know how and understand not only how product works. Like everyone can do that in a few days or even a few hours when they enter the company during the onboarding, etc. But like really to understand how the product works, how your ICP is operating within it, and to understand what changes exactly that product, that company is bringing to market. Why is different, and Wise not just another tool. Because when I entered the company, HeyReach was honestly first automation LinkedIn automation tool that I ever heard of.
Yeah.
But when I entered the research phase, I understood that like there is a plenty of it, and I needed to understand like why it's different, how they're differentiating themselves, etc., etc. And because of that, it was super important to understand also like business strategy and marketing strategy, not just to come in, do the desk research on like open websites, open Ahrefs or SEMrush or whatever you're using, and like, okay, let's do this set of keywords and that will work.
Yeah.
I also needed to understand like how are we approaching acquisition, any step of conversion. Are we going heavy on outbound, inbound, or whatever? That's when I knew only about inbound and outbound. Now I know about something that's called like inbound led outbound. And just needed to understand like where are you sitting with content within the whole strategy, and not to have goals like drive traffic from UK and I don't know, get 5 leads
Yeah.
a month, because that won't cut it. Uh, because even if you bring some leads, the question is, I mean, are you bringing money?
Right.
Or is it just like filled form, which again won't cut it, and you will just fall short. So that's on introspection. When it's on outrospection, like I like to do competitor analysis in 2 ways. Like one is manually. I still do things manually.
Hmm.
And one is with the tools. And there I like to understand like in the same way for for the company I work with, I need to understand like for competitors. Of course, I cannot go to them and be like, okay, what's your business strategy? What's your marketing strategy? I need to see what can I figure out from the materials that are online. What kind of messaging they have on their website, what kind of product marketing activities they are doing, how are they talking to their customers, how are they talking on different channels, is there any difference, etc., etc. And also I use tools to understand like their traffic, how it's changing, if it's changing. Also the top pages, the keywords, that one is a little bit tricky right now with all changes we had with last core role, but I think it's good because earlier there it was a lot of noise. Like you had, I don't know, 20,000 keywords, but essentially, that those driving traffic the most are the ones who are in top pages and who are probably like money,
Yeah.
impacting money. So I also use AI in terms of I'm a big fan of Claude plus Ahrefs,
Hmm.
and I love it to. I also share that weekly on my LinkedIn. But I love to go through all these processes that I'm doing manually, also using Claude and Ahrefs to understand how is that impact with the bigger databases, etc., etc., and then doing optimizations and ongoing changes if that's possible. What's super important here for the strategy is to understand where is the overlapping happening with all competitors, and where are they creating a sort of gap, and
Okay.
you want to go for that gap. And to take that gap and to see where you're fitting in with the previous things you have, like ICP, messaging, etc., etc., etc. So if on HeyReach example, when I did all those things, I decided that we're not going to go with top of the funnel keywords or any type of content. Like we're going to do only product-led content. We're going to go after one ICP first and then to roll out others. And we're going to focus on expert led flow as well, meaning I will go back to here, but meaning we have our own in-house team that is also super active on LinkedIn, thanks to Vuk, our Simeo, who basically pushed the team, like motivated and everything to show their expertise each and every. And I'm basically using that as well in the content. And I've decided that we're going to have chats in the content. So I ditched brand guidelines in regular terms. So yeah, we have a script of how HeyReach should sound and what are the moments that you know that HeyReach is praising, but our brand guidelines are basically tone and voice for every of these authors I showed, and basically like every writer has their own authors and they're following their tone of voice and brand guidelines. Why I chose to do this, it was at the moment in the beginning of the year, it was a bold move, and I was like, oh, would Book be okay with this? But we roll it, and it was great actually, because LLMs also want to see like authentic content. And if you're constantly like doing top of the funnel and the things that are like, we're doing this, we recommend this, but who is we?
Right.
But if you're doing content where like me as Nadia Komnenic as head of sales at HeyReach, who has like track of records like in previous 10 years that worked in this field at blah 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 blah, if I'm talking you about this and I'm guiding you to a workflow that works for me, like it brings authenticity to the content and also brings results in few ways. Like it's easier to be a reader of that content, it's easier to be engaged, it's easier to distribute, and it's easier also to fall into the training data of LLMs. So my strategy from the beginning to this day, and we will continue with that, is to be focused on inbound led, on product led content that's expert focused with natural flow, and to ditch everything that is super vague. So no TOEFL content, no generic content, no topics like how to add headline to the LinkedIn account. Because what I've noticed while I was doing the research on competitors is that most of them decided to be a help center for LinkedIn. And this is where the most, like 80% of their traffic came from, all the queries that are in that category. And I was like, oh, okay, this is good on reports. Like we're growing traffic, we're going, places. But honestly, how many people who is looking to write a summary or edit a headline photo for LinkedIn is actually your customer?
Yeah, it's a false positive.
Yes, exactly. So when maybe that was okay earlier, maybe that's okay for companies that have bigger budgets and they can play long games, but for us it wasn't. Like we needed to be really, really sharp.
Yeah.
So unique voices, it's what works the best for us
Yeah.
in combination with product led. For the guys who are not um, familiar with product led, it basically means that you need to showcase how your product is solving pain points that you're treating in the content, but not in the way, look what our product can do, but this is the pain point, this is how I'm solving it, and this is how I'm doing manually, this is how I'm doing with a certain tool, and it's your choice how you're going to solve it. Basically, like I explained how I do the competitor research. So I do this manually, I do this with these tools, and that's mostly the same how you should approach the product-led content. If there is anyone who would like to know more, I can send you some resources. There are super familiar or less familiar Substacks that I like to follow, and they have like really, really great explanations, walkthroughs, etc. on that. As I said,
How do
like,
you get
yeah,
your team to post? I know that's a pain point that a lot of companies face,
yeah.
is getting your team to actually post, even if you walk through the session of why it's important and how to do it, and even writing posts for them. There seems to always be friction there. How do you guys
Yeah.
kind of solve that internally?
First and foremost, everyone is writing their own posts, like believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the rule number one. So there is no marketing team doing anything for anyone. Everyone needs to be in charge of their own content because of their own expertise. I need to say that magician behind this is Vuk, and he's really loved. I mean, everyone loves him in the team. Everyone saw how easy he can bring revenue, and the things that he uh, tells you to do, like, man, if you don't do that, you're crazy.
Hmm.
So I would say that authority of the person who is presenting that needs to be valid, but not in the moment of like, I am the CEO or I am this or I am that and I tell you to do that. But it's like, look guys, so these people like did this and this and they have this much of revenue. Like with this, we did this and that and this is the result. So whenever we have sessions on quarterly level around LinkedIn, whenever new people join, because it started with 3 or 4 of them, then it was 9 of us, now it's like, I don't know, 12 of us, and it's growing. So basically what's happening, like he is always bringing numbers, he's always bringing results, he's always bringing how it's impacting the revenue. And it's, there is also like a dopamine moment where like you get the visibility, you're growing, etc. Also you're required to use the product, as we said, like we all need to know how it works, so we all do our own campaigns as
Hmm.
well. And on top of that, we started with the gamification of the channel. So we also have bonuses for that, like rewards, etc. So on quarterly level. So it's a mix of all 3 approaches.
Got it. And we have a question that came in. How are you tying the ICP pain points and kind of the messaging that you did for, or the learnings you got from doing that initial messaging? How are you tying that into this content with the executives or founder-led content?
We have categories. We have things that come in through the talk with sales, support, or product, desk research, and we are mapping that on monthly level. So we have initial map from the beginning of year. We are
Hmm.
updating and optimizing that on quarterly level. And then on a monthly level, I'm deciding which topics are going to have priority. Based on that, what are we doing in-house in terms of certain campaigns that we're having with new features, new integrations. We're really big on integration stacks. So every month we're having new integrations, new partners, etc. And also like what I get from support, sales, and success on what were the topics that were most like discussed,
Mm-hmm.
and what I see also happening on LinkedIn. So I spend, as well as my other colleagues, I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn following the community that is actually using HeyReach. What
Mm-hmm.
are they talking? What are they uh, sharing that is working or not working, etc. And also like we have a big community of experts and creators. I talk to them as well, like not to all of them every day, but you get it. Like every month I have a call with some of the customers as well. It's not like I'm just sitting in a cubicle and doing
Yeah.
the desk research. So basically like mapping everything out, having the big vision. So the big map you create on a uh, yearly level when you're deciding what's your strategy going to be, and then going and revisiting that on a monthly level, basically.
Awesome.
I hope that helps. If there is additional thing, write it down again. Okay, so as I explained, like this is how we leverage basically on authority, and this is something that not only LLMs love, but something that Google like is basically demanding since I don't know 2020, maybe even earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also like content formats that worked wonders for us during this year, definitely listicles and reviews, and guides, playbooks, and templates. And I'm not talking about just like generating things or finding things online through LLMs, through Google, through LinkedIn, whatever. I'm talking like real customers sharing and real experts sharing real workflows, real templates and workflows that we use in-house and that are
Mm-hmm.
proven. We saw results. We got submitted from the clients, etc., etc., and we use that and we redistribute that through multiple types of content. So when one customer submits their playbook and their workflow, like it is going to be showcased that on that page it's going to go into different playbooks treating like pain points around that. It's going to be in the guide. It's going to we're going to make templates out of it. So this distribution is really really important for us. So not only distributing in different channel, but also distributing inside of the ecosystem, and not having, for example, a creator to do a YouTube video and then leaving it to live on YouTube and maybe sharing it on social media. No, that YouTube video, it's going to be 10 things more, like 10 additional chunks of content, etc. So that's also the place where you can have a creativity on how you can reuse everything that you're creating inside of the company. Also, like the LinkedIn posts that people are doing in-house, creators, etc. That also goes into the ecosystem of the content we're doing. And the tactics, as I said already, it's to focus on one thing and one thing only,
Mm-hmm.
and then to push it in batches. So we started first with content that's around sales, and then included agencies, then included GTM, and then included like a little broader content that is still targeted. It's still targeting sales and agencies, etc. But it's for those who are seniors in their jobs, but they're juniors in automation. So they never used automation. They never really had any success with growing their LinkedIn and getting leads and money from that channel. So, but we didn't start with everything in the same moment, because in that way you were also going to confuse crawlers from search engines and as well LLMs. Because if you're everything for everyone, like, who are you? But we first started like defining ourselves for one ICP, then other, then third. And when we saw that LLMs started to pick up on it, and before we started investing in tools that could help us, we followed self-attribution moments. So basically, like, people from success and sales team came in and write like, okay, today I had 1 to 10 people telling me like they found us on Perplexity or ChatGPT or things like that. It's still not better than that, meaning like we still cannot attribute things directly from LLM to pipeline, but we're having a workaround, and we're using few tools to understand like where are we popping when it comes to certain prompts, etc. Where are the citation mentions and things like that. But the thing that I will definitely recommend to everyone doing content is to focus on one thing, to get really, really good and to position really, really good in that category, and then to add things. So for us, it was like 2 quarters to cover from one ICP to everyone. And distribution.
Any advice on how to determine what that, how you narrow in on that one thing initially?
Okay, so I started from basic things. So what the SDRs are having the most problems with, it's like prospecting, lead scoring, setting outreach, setting triggers for inbound, for outbound. I learned about inbound led outbound. And I covered essentials around lead generation strategy. So that was my main topic, and all the pillars around it.
Got it.
And once I mastered that, then I moved to basically agency content was also in that more or less same category. It was just different approach to it, because when you're speaking to agencies, they need to understand how to do that for themselves and how to do that for their clients. So it was basically a category that helped me to mix 2 ICPs and to have one piece of content that is talking to sales, one that's talking to agencies.
Got it. And how much does that narrow positioning play into the team content that team members are posting? Are they following that same kind of targeted messaging, or are they more free to post within their content domains?
They're more free to post on their domains. However, we're grouped on who is touching what. Meaning like sales and revenue are talking about sales and revenue. They're more focused on outbound and things like that. On marketing side, we're more focused on. I have this here. So we're more focused on inbound led outbound and how the inbound is working, because to be honest, like inbound is the thing for us, even though like we're outreach tool, but with all the triggers you have now from I will show you later how to leverage on the content that you're posting on both like website and LinkedIn. Your outbound doesn't have to be so cold like it used to be.
Yeah.
So that's also a big thing for us. And then like success team is focusing on AI things, automations, integrations, and then the success and support team is focused on product experience in itself and how to get the maximum of the product. And
Yeah.
I'm using the things that they're posting over the month. I just go the month in the back and like take the post and fuel the content for the next month. So, and then they use something to redistribute, and like things are going in motion basically.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so to have everything said it and actually not drown in all of this, because it can be a lot for one person. Just to be clear, like in a marketing team, there is like 3.5 persons in a whole team, and I'm alone in a content department. Not alone, but I'm the only one in-house in the content department. I do have freelancers I work with. It's around 12 or 15 of them, depending on the quarter. But actually being able to do that and to scale to that number and to scale production and to have all this like results, I needed to start building systems from the day one.
Mm.
And it's something that I recommend to everyone who is working in content nowadays, because that's the only way like not to burn out. There is, as we said, like demand is really high. There is AI tool going out like every 2 weeks. Just when I look in my DMs and like, hey, we developed this, hey, we developed that, and it's always something additional over top and etc. etc. It's fun, but it can also like burn you to the ground
Mm-hmm.
if you're not mindful. So these systems also help me to set aside certain time to actually research all the new things on the market and to do some experiments, etc., etc., and to be on top of everything and to be able to understand the changes and pivot faster than I was able to in my previous jobs, because there I had maybe a little bit more of, I don't know, teammates, money, or different demands. Here it's basically like system and system 1, 2, 3. I will go through it, and it helped me really to keep my sanity and get some results on the top of that. So when I realize like what is going to be my goal, because we in the beginning of the year we all got tied to 10 million target for December, and like the instruction was like build, you can build anything you want, but it needs to influence this revenue mark, and like it's all yours. So
Cool.
I've decided to build a system that will help me to spend as less time as possible on editing, because as I understood on my previous experiences, that is where I'm going to have to invest the most time. And I wanted like my writers to understand what are the demands, requirements, like to be super specific, to give them always the reasoning for when we're just starting to collaborate and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And also to have a cycle for everything, so they know exactly when they are going to receive briefs, how many over the month, when they should deliver that, the window for editing, why I requested certain edits so I don't have to request that in the future. And with 95% of the writers I work with, like after like three drafts, three orders, however you want to, three tasks, I do not have to edit anymore. And I'm not talking about edits like small things like typos, or I'm talking about how they perceive product, how they place product inside of the text, and how they understand the brief. I'm also the one who is doing briefs with the help of one freelancer, and we're doing iterations on brief as well. Like if I see that 5 writers are not understanding the same thing, it's like me problem, not them problem. So that's
Yeah.
also super important to understand when doing systems. And like immediately I'm seeking feedback and like understanding what I need to change. And it's
Yeah.
also super important to for writers to understand when is the payment cycle. I know that that's not fancy thing to talk about, but if you pay your writers on a certain date, like you're doing with your in-house people, and they know that they're receiving their payment then, and like they can be secure, they will be also more willing to take more when it's appropriate, and to give even more of energy, and to go above and beyond with research, etc., etc. So basically, to value them as the same as you value your in-house employees. And also for me, it's super important for all freelancers to understand when is no contact cycle as well. Like my in-house teammates know when is the time when I cannot deliver anything on other projects, other experiments, etc. So when I'm doing briefing and when I'm doing editing, I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah.
And when I'm doing all else, like all product pages, or whatever it's that content and SEO gets involved, like then I usually do not talk to freelancers because I need to focus.
Yeah.
So that's something that helped me tremendously. And also like what, as well as for content, same thing goes here. Like I didn't add like 15 people like the moment I start working with HeyReach. It happened over time. I think that's super important for content managers also to understand, or whoever is leading the production. It needs to go step by step, even though the pressure is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can backfire.
Yep.
So the systems I tell you that you need, I don't know why I can, this is killing my brand now.
Oh no.
Because I cannot see it. No,
We lost some of the images.
no. Okay, you will need to imagine. This is Moira, and this is David Rose. This
Okay.
is
Yep.
Alexis, obviously, and Johnny Rose. So Moira, because she's the mother of making her children independent. But no, really, like the goal for the first system I built was to make writers independent and to actually allow them to be more than a writers. So if they have any ideas, suggestions, they see something else better during the research, during the I don't know, talks with other people, etc. So they can tell me, they can suggest, they can edit in the process, etc. And that's something that goes from the first moment I start talking with writers. We do paid tests exclusively on the content that should go on the website. So I'm not doing some shekels or some tests that is never going to be used. I need to see how they're going to understand real briefs, real product positioning, tone of real people, and how they're going to comprehend that. I don't expect like things to be perfect during the first time, but I need to see where that can go, and that is the moment where I just kind of decide which type of content they're going to do for which ICP and for which authors.
Yeah.
Like I already have some presumptions when I go through the portfolio and I do talk with them. I love to talk to the writers, not just to see the portfolio and some samples and like I wanted to feel the real people, to understand where they're coming from, meaning what experience they have. Like some of them are writers, but they are also like content managers in other companies, or sales managers, or like lead editors, or whatever. Like they have like working history that can affect and improve like what we're doing, and I want to understand what are their strong points so we can like put that to work and not demand from them something that is weak point when I have other writer who has that thing as a strong point. So
Yeah.
that's also super important for me to understand, and I see that they like that as well, because they don't have to do topics that they don't feel comfortable in, but they can do the researches and things that they enjoy. Also, like as I said, like we have feedback cycles, and that's something that's super important for me, because as I said, like we iterate in-house as well, and it's something that I can then share with in-house team, and we can maybe improve certain things, how we explain, I don't know, features or part of the product, or something we do during the campaign for promotion, because they're basically my first like test pool. For example, like when we did MCP promotion campaign, like we had some video explainers, and I've noticed when I shared with the writers that I get the almost the same output during the text, and I was like, okay, this is not good.
Yeah.
This is not what we want to say to people. So we needed to change the first thing. So how do we explain things in the videos that we want to put to our customers? So that's why it's super important to have your writers in like really tight community that it's close to you, and it's not just some soulless screen thing that you ship your tasks
Yeah.
to. The other thing when it comes to researches and briefs, I love to say that sales support and product teams need to be your best friends. So when you talk to the product teams, you get the hypothesis on what certain product or feature should do and how customers should use it. And then when you talk to the sales or you listen to sales calls, etc., you can understand how people are actually searching for solutions and how people are actually planning to use that, or how they want to incorporate that in their daily routine. And then when you talk to success and to support, you actually understand how things are happening.
Yeah.
And where things can or go south, or where are they like exploding. And it's also super important to have that circle in motion in combination with talking to customers and reading their content that they put out, because that's how you build how you talk to the customers, so they can feel seen and understood.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like talking in abyss, like look how great we are. Like,
Right.
who cares? Who
Yeah,
cares?
exactly.
I also love to do, and I also not force the writers and content strategy, but I recommend them to do a lot of desk research as well with search engines and with LLMs and with social media, um, because it's the way to understand how your ICP acts. So whenever I want to solve a certain pain point, I tend to do researches inside of LLMs and also on Google to understand how they are Googling it, to understand how they are talking to LLMs, and to see what's already out there and what's already positioning, and again, where is the gap and where
Right.
can we dive in. I've shared that exact like process step by step on my LinkedIn, so if anyone's interested in step by step and exact prompts, etc., just ping me and I will share that with
We
you.
can
It's not a
we can add
secret.
it into the description here.
Okay. That works. That
Yeah.
works as well. And also, like last but not the least, that's super important for research and briefs is how you use the product and do you use it. I
Yeah.
know that for some products it's not possible to be a super user in some niches, but in ours it is, and it's required by every member because of the sanity. Because how you can position anything or sell anything if you do not understand how it works.
Yeah.
So I'm also like doing a lot of experiment campaigns, etc., to understand how I can solve certain things inside of the briefs. And the briefs I send out tend to be really, really detailed. I can also include that in materials later, like if you need template or something, but I do recommend you to adapt that template. Like
Mhm.
it's working for me, but for you maybe you need to get something in additionally or take it out, and things like that. But basically what I love to have for writers in brief is to understand what is the idea of the article, what should deliver, what should include in terms of different steps, workflows, brands, integrations, what should includes when it comes to features from HeyReach. Also, like how should they optimize it, who should they look up to when it comes to tone of voice and everything, because we said like we have our in-house experts, or if it's an expert from the community, then I pull their variables. And also I usually like 90% of time already give them an outline.
Yeah.
So that's also something that's helping me and helping them to actually have the end point really, really clear and to understand what's good or not. And that's when we came to Alexis and high quality content. And so the guidelines that I share with writers are super simple and not so long. I remember when I was a manager or editor in previous companies, sometimes like the guidelines were like 100 pages of like font 5.
Yeah.
And it was exaggerating. It was honestly depressing to go over that and to memorize everything and to apply everything, etc., etc. So
Yeah.
I opt for really, really, really simple things, but to be understandable, what is okay, what is tolerable, what is expected, and what is not tolerable.
Yeah.
It's super simple, explained like do this, do not do this.
Yeah.
And I got a feedback from writers that it's helping them because they don't have to constantly do this. They just know like, okay, these are like no, and like I should strive to this, and
Yeah.
it's simple.
Yeah. Maybe you can share templates of those as well. That'd be awesome.
Okay, okay. I will.
And I
And
don't, but I sorry,
yeah,
I
tell me.
don't mean to rush, but I am being mindful of time and the people
Yes,
listening in. Um,
yes. I'm almost done.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure that people can get can get through the whole session and we can get to some questions.
Yes, great. For distribution, I think I already talked a lot about that, so I won't go there. For the tracking, I know that a lot of people is interested mostly in that because it's like really a hard time for that. So what I'm tracking is organic traffic, how it's moving and how it's showing in Ahrefs, Google Analytics, and Search Console. And then I do like the comparison. I do track separately branded and non-branded traffic. When I say non-branded, it's not our brand, not competitors, and not LinkedIn, because there is a lot of queries that include LinkedIn and that get traffic because of that query. So total exclusion of all brands. Share of voice, I use Athena for that. I track mentions and citations, and percentage of share of voice, and also positioning for keywords. I think this is all self-explanatory. I focus on that and on free trial clicks, like how many times people click on free trial. That is from the where the blog page is first to visit or one of the visitors. And how much people click on certain content assets or links inside of the content itself. So that helps me understand where they engage and what are their interests going for.
Do you track time on site?
At the moment, no, because we didn't have a lot of content when I joined. It's planned to be integrated sometimes next year, but right now, like I just don't want them to see jumping off.
Yeah.
But if they spend like 2 minutes or 10 minutes, I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing, did they click on something?
Got it.
Because the thing I need to report is how many free trials clicks I got. Like no one's interested in
Yeah,
in
yeah. Just
anything
focusing on the
else.
end goal here.
Yeah, exactly. So, and all of this helped me to actually go from 4 articles a month in February to currently like 14 articles. So I won't go in details with, but basically like everything that I said, it's like falling in this scale. How we impact the pipeline. So the first thing is how we impact the free trial, as I shared, like that's the most important metric for me. And that is the thing that basically send me signals if this is working or not working. And the other two things are, I will also share this as additional material, like how can you do inbound led outbound with your distribution channels or with your website. That's the second case. So we're using the content on the website that has the biggest numbers on traffic end, and we use certain integrations we have like Airbnb and Clay to get the visitors and reach them and then push them in HeyReach campaigns. And that's also something that works wonders for us and for our customers, as I shared with this post from our customer that basically like speeds up the whole revenue thing. And you can do the same thing on your posts on LinkedIn, where you can basically have extracted like engagers on your post and then push them into campaigns. Like this is super cartoonish version of it, but for sake of time, not to go into super details. But you will see in those posts there's step-by-step execution, and also I can send some guides for those who are interested in.
And is this just an example post here, or are you boosting those posts on LinkedIn as well?
These are example posts.
Gotcha.
We are boosting. We started playing with ads like a few weeks ago, so we were totally organic until October. So we
Okay.
started doing October ads, and we have positive results, but we're still to talk about it.
Yeah.
For that, you can follow Vuk on LinkedIn. He's sharing all of that
Awesome.
also transparently. So yeah, you can see that there. And that's basically it. Like nothing is mysterious. It's just like focus and execution, and that's it.
Incredible.
we
Thank
can we
you.
can go to questions.
Yeah. No, I think it's so important to just focus back on like core principles. And I think the biggest takeaway that I heard from this was like being really focused and clear on what you're working on and what your priorities are, and making sure that the team around you knows those priorities and know how they can support, especially when you're working with freelancers, and then build and kind of iterate on itself versus jumping right into doing everything at once and making sure that you have systems to track. So while
Yeah.
it's not rocket science, to your point, it is just kind of, foundation principles, and but are so important, especially in the world where content demands keep increasing. It makes it even more challenging to stay focused with keeping things together. So, thank you so much for the time. This has been incredible. We will get this up and get all of those resources compiled in the next day or so. And for anyone who couldn't join, we'll send the webinar to them directly. And yeah, thank you so much for coming in and teaching us about this.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course.
I hope guys got something useful.
Oh, there was so much value in this. We'll have to do another.
Great. Sure things.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, and yeah, we'll talk soon.
Talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Bye.